UF cable can indeed be run vertically along the siding of a dwelling, given it's rated as sunlight resistant. The marking sunlight resistant on the cable jacket confirms its suitability for direct sunlight exposure without degradation. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, doesn't explicitly address the vertical installation of UF cable on a dwelling's exterior. However, NEC Section 334.10 permits UF cable use where exposed to direct sunlight, provided the conductors are identified for such use. So, with sunlight-resistant UF cable, vertical installation on siding is code compliant. Remember, proper support and physical damage protection are vital. For running UF cable from an indoor panel, exiting the building, and continuing about 15 feet to an AC disconnect, that's a common and generally code-compliant application, assuming proper support and physical damage protection. Cable staples or straps can secure the cable to the siding. Consider conduit or another protective device where the cable exits the building for added protection. Always consult local codes and regulations, as they might have stricter requirements or interpretations. Also ensure all work is performed by a qualified electrician. Let's talk more in depth about the technical specifications and the code. NEC Section 334.10 is a key reference point. This section broadly outlines permitted uses of UF cable. The allowance for direct sunlight exposure is conditional on the cable's sunlight resistance rating. This rating signifies the cable's jacket material can withstand ultraviolet, or UV, radiation without significant deterioration that could compromise its insulation or safety. Sunlight-resistant UF cable, therefore, becomes a versatile option for exterior wiring applications. This can include powering outdoor lighting, pumps, or air conditioning units. The structural integrity of the cable installation is also paramount. Securing the cable properly to the siding prevents stress on the conductors and minimizes the risk of physical damage from environmental factors, impacts, or abrasion. Cable staples or straps should be appropriately sized for the cable diameter and installed at intervals recommended by the NEC and the cable manufacturer. Typical spacing might be around 12 to 18 inches, but always refer to the specific product's guidelines. When exiting the building, protecting the cable from physical damage is especially crucial. This area is often susceptible to mechanical stress, exposure to moisture, and potential impact. Using rigid or flexible metal conduit provides a robust barrier against these threats. The conduit should extend from the interior panel, through the wall, and far enough along the siding to protect the exposed cable run. Fittings used to connect the conduit to the panel and the siding should be weatherproof to prevent water ingress. Considering the specific installation scenario involving the AC disconnect, it's important to ensure the disconnect itself is rated for outdoor use. The enclosure must be weatherproof to protect the internal components from rain, snow, and other environmental elements. The connection between the UF cable and the AC disconnect should be made inside the enclosure using appropriately sized connectors and terminals. Grounding is a critical aspect of electrical safety. The grounding conductor within the UF cable must be properly connected to the grounding system at both the indoor panel and the AC disconnect. This provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, facilitating the operation of overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers or fuses. The size of the grounding conductor must comply with NEC Table 250.122, which specifies the minimum size based on the rating of the overcurrent protection device. Let's now delve into the potential physical damage considerations. Even with sunlight-resistant UF cable and proper support, the cable could still be susceptible to physical damage from various sources, including impact from lawn equipment, vandalism, or even animal activity. To mitigate this risk, consider additional protective measures such as running the cable behind a decorative facade or installing a physical barrier around the cable run. Another important aspect is the ampacity of the UF cable. Ampacity refers to the maximum current a conductor can carry continuously without exceeding its temperature rating. The ampacity of UF cable is determined by NEC Table 310.15b16, which provides ampacity values based on conductor size, insulation type, and ambient temperature. It's crucial to select a UF cable with an ampacity sufficient to handle the load it will be carrying. This includes accounting for any directing factors that may apply, such as those for ambient temperature or the number of conductors bundled together. Overcurrent protection is essential for preventing damage to the UF cable and connected equipment in the event of a fault or overload. Circuit breakers or fuses should be sized appropriately to protect the cable based on its ampacity. The overcurrent protection device should have an interrupting rating sufficient to handle the available fault current at the point of installation. In addition to the NEC, local electrical codes and regulations may impose additional requirements or restrictions on the use of UF cable. It's important to consult with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with all applicable codes. For example, some jurisdictions may require the use of conduit for all exterior wiring, regardless of whether the cable is rated as sunlight resistant. Others may have specific requirements for the type of staples or straps used to secure the cable. Furthermore, the NEC undergoes revisions every 3 years, so it's essential to stay up to date with the latest edition. Changes to the code can affect the requirements for UF cable installations. Regular training and continuing education can help ensure that electricians and other electrical professionals are aware of these changes and can apply them correctly. Now, let's think about best practices. While the NEC sets the minimum standards for electrical safety, it's often beneficial to go beyond these minimums to enhance the reliability and longevity of the installation. For example, using high-quality UF cable from a reputable manufacturer can provide increased resistance to sunlight, moisture, and physical damage. Proper workmanship is also crucial. Carefully installing the cable, making secure connections, and protecting it from damage during the installation process can significantly improve the overall quality and safety of the installation. Regular inspections and maintenance can help identify and address potential problems before they become serious. Check the cable for signs of damage, ensure that connections are tight, and verify that overcurrent protection devices are functioning properly. Finally, documentation is essential. Keep accurate records of the UF cable installation, including the type of cable used, the route of the cable run, and the location of any splices or terminations. This documentation can be valuable for troubleshooting and future maintenance. When considering the specific scenario of running a UF cable to an AC disconnect, it's important to consider the load requirements of the air conditioning unit. The UF cable must be sized appropriately to handle the inrush current of the unit, which can be significantly higher than the running current. Refer to the air conditioning unit's nameplate for the minimum circuit ampacity and maximum overcurrent protection device size. When making connections at the AC disconnect, use appropriately sized connectors and terminals that are rated for use with copper conductors. Apply an antioxidant compound to the conductors before making the connections to prevent corrosion. Ensure that all connections are tight and properly torqued according to the manufacturer's instructions. Label the AC disconnect clearly to indicate the circuit it controls and the voltage and amperage rating. This can help prevent accidental disconnection or overloading of the circuit. And remember that if there is ever any question, you can contact a qualified electrician. Working with electricity can be dangerous. It's also important to use the right tools for the job when working with UF cable. A cable ripper or stripper can help remove the outer jacket of the cable without damaging the insulation on the conductors. A crimping tool is essential for making secure connections with crimp-on terminals. A multimeter can be used to verify the voltage and current in the circuit. When running UF cable, avoid sharp bends or kinks in the cable, as this can damage the insulation and reduce its ampacity. Use sweeping bends with a radius of at least 5 times the cable diameter. When running the cable through holes in walls or other structures, use bushings or grommets to protect the cable from abrasion. Be mindful of other utilities when running UF cable. Avoid running the cable near gas lines, water pipes, or other potential hazards. Maintaining a safe working environment is also critical. Always turn off the power to the circuit before working on it. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. Work in a well-lit area and avoid distractions. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your UF cable installation is safe, code compliant, and reliable. Now let's discuss the practical steps of installing a UF cable along the siding. Firstly, carefully plan the cable route from the indoor panel to the AC disconnect. Consider the shortest and most direct path while avoiding any obstructions or potential hazards. Secondly, measure the distance of the cable run and add a few extra feet for slack. This will ensure that you have enough cable to make the connections at both ends. Thirdly, turn off the power to the circuit at the indoor panel. This is a critical safety precaution that should never be skipped. Fourthly, prepare the UF cable by stripping the outer jacket to expose the insulated conductors. Be careful not to damage the insulation on the conductors. Fifthly, attach the UF cable to the siding using cable staples or straps. Space the staples or straps according to the manufacturer's instructions, typically every 12 to 18 inches. Sixthly, at the point where the cable exits the building, install a conduit or other protective device to protect the cable from physical damage. Secure the conduit to the siding using appropriate fittings. Seventhly, run the UF cable through the conduit and connect it to the AC disconnect. Make sure that the connections are tight and properly torqued. Eighthly, connect the grounding conductor from the UF cable to the grounding system at the indoor panel and the AC disconnect. This provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source. Ninthly, turn the power back onto the circuit at the indoor panel. Tenthly, test the circuit to ensure that it is working properly. Use a multimeter to verify the voltage and current. With these steps, you should be able to run the UF cable correctly. Now let's talk about what happens after it is done and things go wrong. When troubleshooting UF cable installations, several common problems can arise. One issue is voltage drop, which occurs when the voltage at the AC disconnect is significantly lower than the voltage at the indoor panel. This can be caused by undersized conductors, long cable runs, or excessive load on the circuit. To correct voltage drop, increase the size of the conductors or reduce the load on the circuit. Another common problem is ground faults, which occur when the current flows through an unintended path to ground. This can be caused by damaged insulation, loose connections, or moisture. To correct ground faults, locate and repair the damaged insulation or loose connections. Use a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, to protect the circuit from ground faults. Overloads occur when the circuit is carrying more current than it is designed to handle. This can be caused by too many appliances or equipment connected to the circuit. To correct overloads, reduce the load on the circuit or install a larger circuit breaker. Short circuits occur when the current flows directly from one conductor to another, bypassing the intended load. This can be caused by damaged insulation or loose connections. To correct short circuits, locate and repair the damaged insulation or loose connections. Replace the circuit breaker or fuse. When troubleshooting electrical problems, always follow safe work practices. Turn off the power to the circuit before working on it. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment. Work in a well-lit area and avoid distractions. Now let's discuss the types of tools that are used. Electrical testers such as multimeters, voltage testers, and continuity testers are very helpful. Wire strippers, pliers, and screwdrivers. Cable cutters and conduit benders are also used. Personal protective equipment is something you will always need. This includes safety glasses, insulated gloves, and appropriate clothing. All of this combined with careful attention to detail, you can effectively troubleshoot UF cable installations and ensure electrical safety.